Hi, I'm Ken Wright. Thanks for joining us with Simply Natural Living. Joining me live in the studio today is Mr. Todd Metlen, who's a world-recognized and award-winning product developer and designer. And he has a whole new organization and structure where he's helping corporate entities run workshops to invigorate their sales and or their products. So I understand, Todd, that thanks for joining me in the studio today, by the way.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, one of the things that you do is you build better products faster. Is that right?
That's true. That's part of it. And I would say with more corporate harmony. Teams tend to get really fragmented. A successful company has to innovate constantly. And the stress and the pace of doing that can take its toll. So what we do is we not only give people the tools to innovate and innovate quickly, which is the key to success, but also get on the other side with a team that's excited and wanting to move ahead to the next challenge.
Have you found that so with corporations, large or small?
Sure.
It's one of some of the things that happen is they're just sort of an entropy. They just sort of slow down and stop innovating, and this is a way to help invigorate their sales, invigorate their products.
You bet. In fact, there's been some great examples historically of companies that were huge industry leaders, Kodak, Nokia.
You worked for Nokia.
I did.
You were one of the original designers of Nokia.
I was actually part of Nokia's Vertu luxury phone.
Oh, luxury phones, yeah.
So I was separate from Nokia, so I got to see everything that was unfolding with Nokia, but I wasn't directly associated with them at that time.
So you integrate, then you must, that's a difficult job as a designer, because you're looking at plastics, you're looking at metals, you're looking at computer circuitry, you're looking at how to deliver something in a time frame.
Oh yeah, in fact,
and managing all those people.
Yeah, I was the 15th person hired for that venture, and it was a $250 million startup inside of Nokia. Nobody even knew what we were doing except for us.
You were the secret phone.
Yes, and the secret was, of course, we didn't know what we were doing either. We were making it up as we went, and and what we were trying to do was something really amazing, which was kind of in reverse. You think about like a wristwatch. Wristwatches, when they first started, being made in the late 1800s, could only be afforded by kings. They were incredibly precious and valuable. Now you get one for free if you fill up your gas tank. We had to take that product and do the exact opposite. So people were used to getting a free cell phone. You sign up for a plan, they give you a free mobile phone. Which one do you want? We needed to say to people, not only do you have to pay for the plan, but you're also going to have to pay $25,000 for the cell phone.
$25,000 for
$25,000 and feel good about it. So suddenly we were faced with building the value so that people felt good about that, but also integrating technologies that had never been part of a mobile phone or any consumer electronics product before. So the same sapphire crystal that was being used in a Rolex, and precious metals, and all the leather and all sorts of different things. And trying to bring all of that together harmoniously into a product was an incredible challenge, but ultimately very, very successful.
I would think then that just the time that it takes to find all of those different materials, get the engineers involved, and to actually get them to work together, and then to have a product come to market must take, what would that take, 10 years? By that time you'd give up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, it took us 2 years. And
is that part of what your corporate workshops do, is to help identify and short circuit that process so it's faster, it's easier?
Yes, and in fact, many of the things that I'm teaching in the workshop were born from that experience. When we first started, to give you an example, we first started that venture, because we were a startup and we were kind of a skunk works within Nokia. We were all cooped up in a little room together. Your typical cubicles and offices and partitioned wings weren't in place. So the engineers would be having a technology discussion in front of the graphic designers, in front of the people who were building the sales. And people would, because we were a friendly group that worked well together, people would contribute ideas. And some of the ideas that were contributed by people who never thought that they'd be qualified to offer an opinion ended up becoming part of the final product. So that's part of it, that we bring everybody together. Everybody has a different viewpoint. The engineer has a completely different outlook than the accountant or the HR person or the salespeople or the marketing team. Everybody's got different set of criteria of what is a success. about how things are done, about a value system, right? But everybody has the same goal and should have the same goal, which
They
is to
want
bring
this phone to work, they want it
Exactly.
to sell, they want it to be of high value.
bring a great product to
Right.
market
Right.
and do it as quickly as possible. Those goals are unchanged. It's just everybody's coming from a different place.
Well, in today's world too, it's just things, the pressure to bring something to the market is so fast. The internet is moving so fast, things
Right.
change so quickly. So tell me about your workshops. You're introducing something new. You're not only are you an incredible product designer in a variety of materials with 3D printing, which I've seen, you showed me before the show, but materials of cell phones, solar lights, electronics, etc. But now you're branching out into corporate workshops. Now, I've heard, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard that one of your new inventions, so to speak, to train people to work together is the baking cookie experience. Tell me what that is. And this is a good example of what a person, if they were going to use you in the workshop environment, this is kind of what you'd bring to that company, that organization, or the startup, correct?
That's right, yeah, and it's a great illustration for people to understand how to work as a team.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people in an organization look at someone from across the table they've been working with for years who's integral into the success of the creation and success of the product, and literally has no idea what they do for a living. They're asking, what do you even do? What does your department do anyway? And that's amazing to hear because people really don't have an understanding of other people's jobs and contribution. So the one thing that everybody understands is cookies, and it is something that everybody has an opinion about. They know what they like, they know what they don't like, and so what we do is we bring people together from different groups, marketing, engineering, industrial design. We put them all at a table, and we have them in front of the group design their own recipe. Now, of course, they can't use any resources. We're creating something new, so you can't just copy some recipe off the internet. You have to use your own intelligence based on that. You have to gather equipment. You have to create a whole business model around it about what these things are going to cost and how you're going to make them. You have to start to make all this stuff,
Who's going to sell it? Right?
Exactly. So we're basically creating a product.
Who
the product
approves
is the cookie.
the tastes? Right.
Right. Then, as we start to go through, strategically, I throw in what happens naturally in an organization.
Blow up the building. There's
Exactly.
a hurricane. Electricity goes
Well,
off.
or the email from the marketing department that says, we decided we don't want peanut butter anymore, so if you have peanut butter in there, you need to remove it. Now that could mean that you're completely starting over. Maybe you can't remove it. You see where I'm going with this. So we start to derail the process, and by doing that, in fact, it ends with us even as they're putting the cookies in the oven, we start yelling at them that we need the cookies now. We don't have 25 minutes to wait.
You don't have time to cook them.
We can't. We've already pre-sold them. They're done, and I need them out of the oven right now. Right? And so you can see how that can.
So as a pressure cooker, then you're taking all this vast 30 years of product development, your design experience of all these different factors, and taking all that intelligence you've had of all the different pressures you've experienced, is what it sounds like to me, made it down into an exercise that any corporation, large or small, can use as a workshop to identify strengths and weaknesses, which is fantastic. But it sounds to me one of the best parts is you get people talking together.
That's right.
Get people communicating together, and when that reality and that affinity rises, better things will come out of that.
That's right. It's fun and lighthearted, and there's lots of laughs, and everybody builds within that an appreciation for other people's perspective. They never even realized that their emails came across the way they did or had an impact that was so enormous.
Yeah.
So they start to realize these things and realize how to interact better together toward the common goal. And so what we also try to teach through this process is that typically what ends up happening is the development cycle is very linear. This department works on it. When they're done, they kick it over to this department who works on it, and it becomes the next guy's problem. We have a system that I've developed called radial development, where basically all of the things are happening simultaneously. We have all of the different groups contributing, spinning plates, moving everything forward toward that center goal. And so I teach how to do that successfully. And the result is that, as you said earlier, people are getting products faster, better, and cheaper, and again, with more corporate harmony.
Yeah, it also sounds like a lot more fun. So Todd, if a corporate bigwig or chief out there wanted to get hold of you, how would they go about finding you? Do you have a website? What's your website?
I do. It's productdesignexpert.com.
productdesignexpert.com. So friends, if you'd like more information about Todd or his corporate workshops, you can contact productdesignexpert.com and you'll learn all about it right there. My guest today has been Mr. Todd Metlen, one of the world's premier product designers. I'm your host, Ken Wright. Thanks for joining us again on another edition of Simply Natural Living, and we'll see you next time. Good, Todd, way to go. Cheers, man.
There's nothing in my cup.
I know.